So what is up, guys? Soda the Savage back, and today we're here with NFL Week, Cam Newton, Warren Moon, but most importantly, Marquez Callaway predictions. This is NFL Week 1 predictions. Now, if you're looking to watch a certain matchup, timestamps are in the description below, so if you want to see that matchup, go click on that timestamp. Anyways, at a different location, currently I'm in university. That's why I got a different background, and the wristband, yeah, I have to keep this on for the next 2 weeks, so you're going to be seeing this in the next couple of videos. They said I can't take this off for the first 2 weeks, but, you know, is what it is. Anyways, we got 16 matchups to get to, so without further ado, let's get this video started. And so we are starting off with our first matchup of the season between the Dallas Cowboys and the reigning Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I really am going to hate this matchup because, you know, I hate both teams, but, you know, still going to make a video about it. Anyways, starting off with the Dallas Cowboys, you know, last year was definitely a disappointment. Now, everyone blames Dak Prescott's injury as the main reason why you guys got eliminated. Well, it was a reason, not the reason, mainly the O-line regressing, Zeke also regressing as well, having absolutely no defense, and Mike McCarthy. So, honestly, I'm not sure if I could see you guys as a possible playoff contender this year, considering you guys got Mike McCarthy. But anyways, any positives I got to say about the team? You know, it's definitely got to be the offense. You know, Dak Prescott's back, Zeke is back, you got the triple-headed monster that is Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and CeeDee Lamb. That is a dangerous trio. The defense has gotten better. You know, you spent a lot in the draft just to build up that defense, and also got Keanu Neal in free agency. So definitely expectations for you are going to be a lot higher. But if you fail to make the playoffs, I could definitely see Mike McCarthy getting axed. And then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Never have I been so more bitter just to see a rival win a Super Bowl. I mean, it sucks, but it is what it is. But your main positive, everyone is back from that Super Bowl. You got Tom Brady, Rojo, Leonard Fournette, and you also have a triple-headed monster in receivers with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Antonio Brown. Got Cameron Brate, Gronk at the tight ends. O-line just as sturdy as ever, but the defense always there, especially that front seven. That front seven is very lethal, and definitely the secondary. The secondary is also pretty good. It's hard to find a weakness for you. Maybe the only weakness I can think about is maybe the Super Bowl hangover. You know, maybe you're not going to win back-to-back. Anyways, if I got to pick a win with this one, I got to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And now you have our very first Sunday matchup between the Seattle Seahawks and the Indianapolis Colts. Starting off with the Seahawks, the way I could describe last year for you was Uno reverse. You know, you had an awesome offense, but a terrible defense. Then it just kind of reversed at the end of the season, but then you won the NFC West, but you were a one and done against the Rams in the playoffs. Now, honestly, you guys got worse. I mean, yeah, you did pick up Gerald Everett, but you lost David Moore, and you lost a whole lot of guys on that defense, and also a little bit on the O-line. So, you know, that's definitely a major issue. You know, a worse defense and a slightly worse O-line. Any positives I can see? Yeah, I could say the offense. You know, Russell Wilson, you know, can he finally get that MVP vote or even just an MVP? You got Chris Carson. He's a pretty solid running back. Of course, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. You did sign Jamal Adams to that major extension, so hopefully that's worth it in the end. But other than that, you know, I'm going to keep my expectations for you guys pretty modest, I'll be honest. And then the Colts. You know, last year you made the playoffs. Lost the Bills in the wild card round, and Phillip Rivers retires. So what do you do at QB? You trade for Carson Wentz. Now, there's some positives I could see about Carson Wentz being in Indianapolis, reunited with Frank Reich under a much stronger offensive line, but you lost Quentin Nelson for 5 to 12 weeks. I mean, this was back pretty early in preseason, and Carson Wentz suffered a foot injury, but it said he's good to go for week 1, so that's interesting. Any positives I can find? That rushing attack, Nyheim Hines, Jonathan Taylor, Marlon Mack, completely lethal trio. The defense is still pretty strong, but my major issue is that wide receiver core. I mean, yeah, you got T.Y. Hilton, Michael Pittman, but, like, come on. Those guys I don't fully trust as wide receiver ones. So this year, you know, the real question is, can Carson Wentz rebound? Seahawks are favored to win this one by 2.5, and I'm going to say that they win and cover the spread. And now you have our very next matchup between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Houston Texans. Wow, this matchup's going to suck. I mean, let's get into it. Jacksonville Jaguars, you guys went 1-15 last year, but you did get the number 1 pick, so you ended up selecting Trevor Lawrence, and he's definitely going to be an upgrade over Gardner Minshew. You guys spent a whole lot of money in free agency, just trying to build up that defense, build the offense a little bit more. A weakness I see, maybe too many new faces. It could be a while till that whole core gets into sync. And also, I'm not sure if Urban Meyer can transfer from college coach to NFL coach. I think that transfer is going to be pretty hard on him. Other positives I see, James Robinson, DJ Chark, Laviska Shenault Jr., and Marvin Jones. That's going to be a great wide receiver trio. Of course, something that didn't pan out for you was when you drafted Travis Etienne in the first round. Of course, he's out for the season. So that you really don't want to take a running back in the first round unless you're sure that he's going to be the next thing. And then the Houston Texans. I did not think this could get worse for you. Deshaun Watson right now, he's in trouble. He might not even play again for the Texans, let alone play in the NFL again. He's had 22 women come out with sexual harassment claims, and you do not want that on your career. So Watson, he's gone. So you got Tyrod Taylor at quarterback, but it's Tyrod Taylor. He's probably going to get injured in week 3 for Davis Mills. He's a project quarterback, and he's so raw. He's not even going to be ready for this. But anyways, you got a decent running back trio with David Johnson, Phillip Lindsay, and Mark Ingram. The receiving core actually isn't too bad. I do like Brandon Cooks, but that's pretty much it. I mean, you did lose Will Fuller, Randall Cobb, and Kiki Kute, so there's really nothing. That defense and O-line, it's just too laughable. So basically, if you're a Texans fan, don't have hopes, because somehow, some way, you guys got worse. Anyways, Jacksonville's favored to win this one by 3, and with Trevor Lawrence in his debut against the Jaguars, yeah, give me the Jaguars. They win and cover the spread. And now you have our very next matchup between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Atlanta Falcons. Yeah, both these teams were a massive disappointment last year. Starting off with the Eagles, you nuked it. You nuked it, Carson Wentz got traded to the Colts. Doug Peterson got fired. But there's a whole lot that's wrong with your team. But anyways, let's get started. Jalen Hurts, he's going to be the quarterback of the future. Your new head coach is from the Colts. So, they really are hoping Frank Reich's tree can kind of give back to them. Anyways, your running backs, Miles Sanders, Boston Scott, they're pretty decent. The receiving core is still absolute trash, like Travis Fulgham, Jalen Reagor. But you do got Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz at tight end, so that's pretty good. The defense is a massive concern. So, the Eagles, my expectations for them are low. I think it's going to be a bad year, and I feel like they're on that rebuild. You did pick up Devontae Smith in the draft. Even though he's like 160 pounds, I still think he can flourish. I still think he's going to do very well. And then the Falcons, most, 2018 and 2019, those seasons were awful starts, but then you would finish about 7-9 and nothing would change. But last year, you ended up with a 4th overall pick. You couldn't stop choking. Anyways, Matt Ryan's going to be the QB. He's not what he once was, but he's still serviceable. I mean, the biggest loss that you had was your franchise's best receiver in Julio Jones. You did get Mike Davis, and you did pick up Kyle Pitts in the draft. Like Kyle Pitts, he could be a generational tight end. But I really think you should have focused on that defense, because that defense, yikes. And of course, you got Arthur Smith. Coach, he was OC of the Titans, so I feel like there might be a bit more of a rush first attack. I don't know. I still have a lot of problems with the Atlanta Falcons, and even though the Falcons are favored to win this one by 3, I'm going to say that they win, but don't cover the spread. I'm going to say they're going to come super close to a choke, but they're going to pull out in the end. And now you have our very next matchup between the LA Chargers and the Washington football team. Starting off with the LA Chargers, things changed last year. You fired Anthony Lynn. You did pick up Brandon Staley, the defensive coordinator from the Rams. So I definitely could see you guys removing that choker label. Hopefully Brandon Staley can lead your team to new heights. Anyways, positives, Justin Herbert had an excellent rookie season. I expect big things from him this year. You're going to get Austin Eckler back. You still got a great receiving duo in Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. You did lose Hunter Henry at tight end, but you did pick up Jared Cook. He's a decent red zone threat, but with inconsistent hands. So that's definitely going to be a problem. Of course, you built on that O-line. The biggest one was, of course, picking up Corey Linsley in free agency. The defense is okay. The major X factor of that defense is definitely going to be Derwin James. He's a lethal safety if healthy. Key term, if healthy. He has dealt with injuries in the past couple of seasons, so hopefully he can rebound and stay off the IL and prove that he's still a top safety in the league. And then the Washington football team, I mean, no one wanted to win the NFC East last year. You went 7-9, won the division, lost the Bucs in the wild card round, but there definitely was some positives. You don't have Dwayne Haskins anymore, don't have Alex Smith. Like, no disrespect to Alex Smith, but he was not good last year. You got Taylor Heineke and Ryan Fitzpatrick. I trust those two guys way more than I trust Dwayne Haskins and Alex Smith. You got a pretty solid running duo in Antonio Gibson and J.D. McKissick. You got Terry McLaurin at wide receiver. Curtis Samuel, he's a great number 2 guy. Definitely going to be a great red zone threat. Logan Thomas at tight end. You still got a really strong defense. That schedule, though, it's looking pretty tough this year, so I'm sort of questioning if you can be able to keep up with that. But anyways, the Chargers are favored to win this one by 1, and this is the OPOY versus the DPOY from last year, and I'm going to give this one to the OPOY and say the Chargers come out with a victory and cover the spread. And now you have our very next matchup between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Buffalo Bills. Starting off with the Pittsburgh Steelers, even though you guys started 11-0, that was tough, first round exit to the Cleveland Browns, and you guys got a little bit worse in the offseason. Big Ben, he is not the option at quarterback. I don't know. I mean, you do have Dwayne Haskins, but we all know Dwayne Haskins sucks. But anyways, you don't have James Conner anymore, but you do have Najee Harris. So Najee Harris is definitely going to be an upgrade in that running game, but you did lose a lot of guys in that O-line, so no one's going to block for him. You still got your 3 receivers in Chase Claypool, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Deontay Johnson. Still a pretty strong defense, but with Big Ben in that O-line, I really have some serious doubts about this team. And then the Buffalo Bills, you guys were 1 game away from the Super Bowl. Josh Allen, he needed to play more like a quarterback last season, and he did, and he got rewarded with the big bucks. He's going to be leading your team. The only weakness I really see is that rushing game. This is really a make-or-break year for Devin Singletary because Zach Moss might be that new running back one for that team, and it would not surprise me at all. But you guys got a loaded receiver core with Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, Greg Davis, and of course, you guys did pick up Emmanuel Sanders in free agency. Still got a strong defense, especially that secondary like Jordan Poyer, Tre'Davious White, Micah Hyde, and of course picking up Gregory Rousseau in the draft. So once again, the ceiling is super high for you guys this time. I think the ceiling is the Super Bowl, and I feel like the floor would definitely be first round exit. But anyways, going into this game, the Buffalo Bills are favored to win this one by 6.5. I'm going to say that they win and cover the spread. And now you have our very next matchup between the San Francisco 49ers and the Detroit Lions. Starting off with the 49ers, last year you guys were absolutely plagued by injuries. You basically had a practice squad to end the season. So basically, the X factor is, can you stay healthy? Because if your team stays healthy, I could really see you guys making a push for the Super Bowl. I mean, at least the playoffs, I'd say. Super Bowl, maybe, but I still see them only making a push for the playoffs. Anyways, you got Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback. Yeah, he was injured last year, and people don't really think he could be the long-term starter. So that's why you drafted Trey Lance with a 3rd overall pick. Now, can he be the QB that you want? I don't know, because they're going to be starting Jimmy Garoppolo at first. But you still got a loaded running core, especially with Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson Jr., and you did pick up Trey Sermon in the draft. So I definitely think he can maybe make an impact late in the season. Wide receivers, if they're healthy, you got Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, a great 1-2 punch of speed and yards after catch. And then, of course, George Kittle. Maybe the best tight end in the NFL, arguably. It's between him and Kelsey. I think it's Kittle, honestly. But anyways, that defense, you did lose Richard Sherman. So that's definitely going to be something that hampers the secondary. But once again, you're getting Nick Bosa back. So if that defense stays healthy, or generally if the team stays healthy, I could see you winning. And then the Detroit Lions, you guys are on full rebuild. Matt Stafford's gone. Kenny Galladay's gone. Marvin Jones is gone. It's just your team is not what it once was. I mean, now you've got Jared Goff at quarterback. He's going to fail. You got DeAndre Swift at running back. I do like him a lot, but you also do have Jamal Williams, so I feel like he could definitely take away some of his thunder. But you have no receivers. Like, your number 1 receiver is Tyrell Williams. Like, come on now. But you do have TJ Hawkinson, so he's a very solid tight end. I could see a lot of production this year, considering there's no Galladay or Jones Jr. The O-line has definitely gotten a little bit better, especially with drafting Penei Sewell. The defense is laughable. The defense is not going to be good. Is Dan Campbell going to be the option for head coach? 49ers are favored to win this one by 7.5, and even though it's going to be Garoppolo and not Trey Lance, 49ers win and cover the spread. And now you have our very next matchup between the Minnesota Vikings and the Cincinnati Bengals. Starting out with the Vikings, last year was definitely a major disappointment for you. This could really be the make or break year for Kirk Cousins and even Mike Zimmer. So let's get to some of the positives. The offense is still pretty strong. Cousins is okay, but once again, it's make or break for him. It's still got Dalvin Cook, and that's pretty much it. You do have Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, a lethal wide receiver duo. You don't have Kyle Rudolph anymore, and Irv Smith might be out for the season, so that's definitely something that's going to hamper you. The O-line and defense I still kind of find questionable, so we'll really see how that goes for you guys this season. And then the Cincinnati Bengals, last year was defined when Joe Burrow tore his ACL. Now, the big issue is you guys didn't really address the O-line problem. You pick up Jamar Chase in the draft. Now, Jamar Chase, definitely a great receiver. I could definitely see him and Joe Burrow getting some of their chemistry back like what they did have at LSU. But who's going to block? Who's going to play O-line? How is Joe Mixon going to perform? Is Joe Burrow going to be the same guy? That is definitely something that does concern me. But you also do have a couple of solid receivers in T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. No A.J. Green this year, sadly. The defense, you did pick up Trey Hendrickson. Now, my big question about him is, did he benefit just from being on the other side of Cam Jordan? Is that why he benefited last year? Who knows? We'll see. You paid him big bucks, so he better work out. But you also got Jesse Bates at safety. He's one of the better safeties in the league. And going back to the Minnesota Vikings, you did pick up Patrick Peterson on the defense, but Jeff Gladney, you drafted him in the first round, and he's out of the league now. He might not ever play again, so that's definitely a major problem. But the Minnesota Vikings are favored to win this one by 3.5. I'm going to say that they win and cover the spread. And now you have our very next match between the New York Jets and the Carolina Panthers. Starting out with the Jets, Sam Darnold was a bust. But didn't really help that he had Adam Gase as his head coach. Both of them are gone. You got Zach Wilson in at QB now. Your running back is Tevin Coleman. I don't really fully trust him, but you do have Michael Carter, so I feel like he could definitely take over that running back core. The receivers, you still got Jamison Crowder. You did pick up Corey Davis in free agency, and for the defense, you definitely rebuilt that defense. So definitely, you guys spent a lot of money just to fix yourselves. Now, can you rebound? I honestly say you're going to be either, the ceiling is mediocrity, the floor is absolutely terrible. You blew your chance for Trevor Lawrence last year. Now with Zach Wilson, can he lead this team? My guess is not really. I think he's just going to be a serviceable quarterback. And then the Carolina Panthers, last year was definitely interesting. You didn't have Christian McCaffrey. Teddy Bridgewater didn't really seem like he was the answer, so now he's gone. You bring in Sam Darnold. Now, can he rebound after a horrible first 3 years in the NFL? Who knows? You should be getting Christian McCaffrey back, and if he's fully healthy, I could definitely see that offense producing like crazy. The receiving core, you do have Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore, a great 1-2 punch. You did lose Curtis Samuel, and even though you did sign David Moore in free agency, he's quickly gone. That defense is definitely something on the rise, like Brian Burns, Jeremy Chin, Derek Brown. You guys are kind of like a team that could be a sleeper to make the playoffs. I don't think you could do anything more than the playoffs. I definitely think the playoffs are your ceiling, and I'd say maybe 4-13 is your floor. But anyways, my bad. The Carolina Panthers are favored to win this one by 5. And does Sam Darnold get revenge on his team? I say yes, they win. Panthers win, but don't cover the spread. And now you have our very next matchup between the Arizona Cardinals and the Tennessee Titans. Starting off with the Arizona Cardinals, last year, you guys could have maybe made a push for the playoffs, but you failed. So to me, I see this as Cliff Kingsbury's last chance. This is literally, if they don't make the playoffs, Cliff Kingsbury's gone. But anyways, positive at this team, Kyler Murray. I love Kyler Murray. He had a great season last year. I think he could really rebound. You don't have Kenyon Drake, but you did pick up James Conner. He and Chase Edmonds will kind of be an okay 1-2 punch. But anyways, D-Hop is still your number 1 receiver, and I fully trust him. Christian Kirk, definitely a great number 2. You guys don't have Larry Fitzgerald. He is not going to be playing this season, and he's possibly going to retire. So, honestly, one hell of a career. Respect out to him. And you did pick up A.J. Green in free agency. I think with D-Hop on one side, A.J. Green could definitely see a lot of production. So maybe A.J. Green's going to be a sneaky kind of player this year. The defense is a little bit questionable. You lost both birds of a feather in Larry Fitzgerald and Patrick Peterson. But you still got Budda Baker in that secondary and Chandler Jones. So who knows? Who knows how you do this year? And then the Tennessee Titans, literally, you guys are just offense. That's it. Ryan Tannehill had a good season last year. I definitely think he is going to be the answer at QB in Tennessee. You got Derrick Henry, the best running back in the league. Had a 2,000-yard rushing season. Maybe he could be the lead rusher again this year. Definitely all money is on him to do that. You got A.J. Brown at wide receiver. And it was a great number one. You don't have Corey Davis anymore, but you did pick up Julio Jones. That is definitely an upgrade over Corey Davis. Now, can Julio Jones stay healthy? Because durability was a major issue for Julio Jones last year. But I definitely think he could rebound in Tennessee. And then that defense. Yikes! That defense is absolutely terrible. You got no one on the D. So honestly, that is going to be your major weakness. But the the AFC South is pretty weak. So I could still see you guys winning the division. Anyways, Titans are favored to win this one by 3. I'm going to say that they win, but don't cover the spread. And now you have our very first 4 o'clock matchup between the Miami Dolphins and the New England Patriots. Starting off with the Miami Dolphins, this year, all eyes are going to be on Tua Tagovailoa. If Tua has a good year, he's definitely going to be seen as the option, I think. But, of course, if he doesn't pan out, he could be gone. Anyways, he's going to be your starting quarterback this year. Other positives I see, Myles Gaskin, he's a decent running back. I definitely think he could be that number one guy. Your receivers is low-key under the radar. You got Will Fuller. Once he comes back from suspension, and if he can stay healthy, he's going to be absolutely lethal. Devontae Parker missed a lot of last year with injury, but I definitely think he could rebound. And, of course, you're picking up Jalen Waddle so he can have that return with him and Tua. Maybe their chemistry can get back together and maybe hopefully revive Tua's career. The biggest concern definitely was on that defense. Would you get back Xavier Howard? He did come back for the season, so that defense is still going to be pretty strong. And that offense, it really all depends on Tua. He's literally the X factor of this team. And then the Patriots. Cam Newton's gone. You selected Mac Jones with the 15th overall pick, and just a couple of days ago, Cam Newton got released, so that is definitely a massive shocker. But who's going to be backup? Oh, right, you do have Jarrett Stidham, but it's not like he's going to be a great backup anyways. Anyways, it's Mac Jones time, baby. But anyways, you guys don't have Sony Michel for the season. You traded him away to the LA Rams. You do got Damian Harris. I think he has a lot of upside as a running back, and you guys went off the walls in free agency this year. You got Jacoby Myers as your number one wide receiver, but you also got Nelson Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne, which is definitely a upgrade over what you had last year. Got a great tight end duo in Jonnu Smith and who's your other? And Hunter Henry. That defense definitely rebounded a lot. Once you spend a whole lot of money in free agency, I definitely think you guys can make a return. Patriots are favored to win this one by 3, but give me the Dolphins at this one. I think Tua is going to roll and take that victory in week 1. And now you have our very next matchup between the Denver Broncos and the New York Giants. Starting out with the Denver Broncos, this is really also Vic Fangio's last chance. Anyways, this also might be a last chance for Drew Lock, but he's not even going to be starting because, of course, Teddy Bridgewater's starting. Any other positives I see about the team? Melvin Gordon, he's an okay running back one. You don't have Phillip Lindsay, but you did pick up Javonte Williams in the draft, so I definitely think he could maybe be that new running back number 1. The receiving core is still pretty strong with Jerry Jeudy, Tim Patrick, KJ Hamler, and Cortland Sutton. If he's fully healthy, I definitely think he's going to be a huge impact on that team. Noah Fant's a pretty solid tight end, and of course that defense, that secondary is absolutely loaded. Could this be the new version of the no-fly zone? Maybe. You never know. But anyways, of course the X factor for this team is the quarterback situation and also Vic Fangio. Actually, no, Vic Fangio is the worry, and the X factor is definitely going to be the quarterback. And then the New York Giants, this is also like Daniel Jones' last chance. Honestly, there's a lot of people who could be having their heads cut off. Joe Judge, because, there have been a lot of fights that have broken out at practice, and he might be a bit of a problem there. It could be Saquon's last chance because, he's been dealing with injuries for the past couple of seasons, so he really has to prove that this year is the year for him. Otherwise, he could be gone. Daniel Jones, this is make or break for him. And, of course, Dave Gettleman, he's done a lot of questionable things at GM. So who knows? Anyways, like I said, Daniel Jones, I don't fully trust him to be your number 1 quarterback because he's got to fix that turnover issue. He's okay when it comes to picks, but ball security, he fumbles it way too much. Can Saquon bounce back after a torn ACL last year? You do have a solid receiving core in Darius Slayton, Sterling Shepard, and of course you did pick up Kenny Golladay and Kadarius Toney, so that can definitely strengthen that receiver core. Evan Ingram, he's going to be out for some time, I think, but he's also got stone hands. So, of course, you got Kyle Rudolph. The defense is okay, but the O-line is also a major worry for me. So, this is it. This is your last chance. Otherwise, everything could go to shit. The Denver Broncos are favored to win this one by 3, and I don't fully trust Daniel Jones. So, give me the Broncos. I say that they win and cover the spread. Now you have what might possibly be matchup of the week between the Cleveland Browns and the Kansas City Chiefs. Starting off with the Cleveland Browns, you shocked everyone last year. You made the playoffs, you won a game, and you came oh so close to beating the Kansas City Chiefs. But this is a rematch of the 2021 divisional round. With the Browns, what I like, the offense is still pretty strong. Baker Mayfield definitely had a good bounce back after the sophomore slump. You still got the best running back duo in the NFL with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. You got Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, Rashard Higgins, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Austin Hooper as your receiving corps. That's pretty good. OBJ definitely is someone everyone's going to have eyes on. Can he have a healthy and productive season? Who knows? Because when he's healthy, he's pretty lethal. That O-line's still one of the best in the league. The defense was definitely a major concern last year, especially that secondary, but it got better. You picked up John Johnson and Troy Hill from the Rams, got Jadeveon Clowney to be on the other side of Myles Garrett. This team, I feel like this team is going to make the Super Bowl. I think they could win it this year. Honestly, that's it. I got them as my Super Bowl winners. I mean, I would maybe say the Saints, but of course, there's still too many question marks, but I'll get to that later. And then the Kansas City Chiefs, you lost 31-9 in the Super Bowl to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year, so this year is redemption. You got Patrick Mahomes, he's going to be still strong as hell. You got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's an okay running back, so, hopefully he can have a breakout year. In terms of receivers, you just got speed with Tyreek Hill, McCole Hardman, and Demarcus Robinson. You don't have Sammy Watkins this year, but you still got Travis Kelce, one of the best tight ends in the league. And with how bad that O-line was last in the Super Bowl, you guys said, forget it. We're going to protect Patrick Mahomes at all costs. You spent a lot of money in free agency this year just to fix that O-line, and it's still going to be pretty strong. The defense is definitely going to be a bit of a question mark. I do like L'Jarius Sneed, Tyrann Mathieu, Chris Jones, but no Frank Clark. So the defense is always still as questionable as ever, but, can the Chiefs rebound this year? I definitely say they're going to come close to making the Super Bowl, but I don't think they're going to make it. Anyways, the Chiefs are favored to win this one by 6, but give me the Browns. I'm going to say that they pull off the upset of the week and come out with a W. And now you have our final 4 o'clock matchup between the Green Bay Packers and my boys in the New Orleans Saints. Starting off with the Green Bay Packers, the offseason was headlined by Aaron Rodgers saying that he's done with the Packers and he wants out. But he did come back. This is basically, everyone's calling this the last dance. Although at the last dance, they were going for a three-peat. I mean, the three-peat I could see them doing is losing 3 straight NFC Championship games. See, that's the last dance for me. Lose another NFC Championship game, because if that happens, Rodgers is 100% gone. But he's a major positive. I think, he was an MVP last year, so I think he could be, I think he's going to have another great season. You got a solid running back duo in Aaron Jones. You don't have Jamal Williams anymore, but A.J. Dillon is slowly on the rise, so I really like that. Of course, you got Devontae Adams, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Alan Lazar, Robert Tonyan, a pretty solid receiving core. And then you did pick up Randall Cobb in free agency. Randall Cobb isn't what he once was, but maybe under Aaron Rodgers he'll go back to form. Who knows? The O-line, still pretty good, although you did lose Corey Linsley, and that is definitely a major concern since you paid all that money for Aaron Jones. And this is also the last dance since cap hell could be coming your way if you fail. And the defense, it's still pretty solid. Darius Smith, and of course Jair Alexander. And then the Saints, the narrative of this season is let Jameis eat. Drew Brees, he's sadly retired. It's the end of an era for the Saints. So thank you, Drew Brees, once again. I love the man. But anyways, the big talk during preseason was who's it going to be, Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill. I'm really glad they stuck with Jameis Winston because Taysom Hill, I like him as the Swiss Army knife for the Saints, not as our regular starter. Positives, of course, you got Alvin Kamara, but no longer. Latavius Murray just got cut. And that is definitely going to be a huge loss for the Saints. Latavius Murray, I loved when he was with the Saints. Him and Alvin Kamara had a great 1-2 punch, but you are no Mark Ingram. And that's my only roast against you. You're not going to have Michael Thomas for the first 5 weeks of the season, so that's definitely going to be a huge loss. But Marquez Callaway in preseason and last year, he showed flashes of excellence. And that receiving core is definitely going to be a bit of a question. Tre'Quan Smith, he's way too inconsistent. Deontay Harris, probably best as a return man, but maybe, who knows how well he's going to do. That's all that I got. The O-line still as strong as ever. The defense, the front seven definitely lost a couple with no Trey Hendrickson and David Onyemata getting suspended for 6 games for violating the NFL substance policy. But anyways, back to it. But you did pick up Peyton Turner in the draft. Hopefully he does well. The secondary is absolutely loaded. Marshawn Lattimore, Paulson Adebo, Marcus Williams, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Malcolm Jenkins, and we did pick up Desmond Trufant and Bradley Roby. So that secondary is definitely going to be lethal, but it always takes the Saints secondary a couple of days to get into check. So that's what could be a big concern. Even though Green Bay is going to be the favorite, they're favored by 4.5 to win this one. Give me the Saints, although they're not even going to be in New Orleans for this one. This one is going to be in Jacksonville due to Hurricane Ida. So hopefully the Saints can get back to New Orleans soon, but give me the Saints in this one. And now you have our very first Sunday Night Football matchup between the Chicago Bears and the LA Rams. Starting out with the Chicago Bears, last year you making the playoffs might have been the worst thing for you. I mean, Matt Nagy's still there, Ryan Pace is still there, Mitch Trubisky is gone though, so that's definitely going to be it. So now you did draft Justin Fields, but you also brought in Andy Dalton in free agency, and Dalton's going to be the starter. For how long? I don't know. And anyways, in terms of running, you still got David Montgomery. He's an okay running back, but he definitely did benefit off of playing terrible pass rushes last year late in the season. But you still got Allen Robinson and Darnell Mooney, great wide receivers. Darnell Mooney could be sneaky good. I feel like he's got a lot of upside. You got Jimmy Graham and Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet could be the future tight end for this team. Jimmy Graham is still a former shell of what he once was, especially, once he got traded to Seattle, he was just never the same. The O-line is not that great, and the defense, the defense is solid, but losing Kyle Fuller, that is definitely that's definitely going to hamper the secondary quite a bit. And then the LA Rams, everyone's hyping this team up. Now I'm going to slow down a little bit on the hype. So, Jared Goff is gone, and you bring in Matt Stafford now. Matt Stafford's definitely an upgrade over Jared Goff. Cam Akers is out with a torn ACL, so RIP to everyone who drafted him in fantasy, which was me. I did a draft in early July, and I took Cam Akers in the second round. That was a major mistake. Never draft before preseason. Just straight up, never draft too early. But you do have Darrell Henderson Jr. and Sony Michel. You also got Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, and Tyler Higbee as your receivers, and you also did bring in Deshaun Jackson. Not what he once was, but still a pretty great receiving core. The O-line's pretty solid. The defense is definitely also a little bit more of a concern than it was before. Aaron Donald, still as dominant as he is, he's still going to be amazing. But you did lose a little bit in that secondary, like John Johnson and Troy Hill, so that is definitely a major question that no one's really talking that much about. Everyone's talking all about Matt Stafford being new and going to be the new answer. Also worry a little bit about that secondary. But anyways, the Rams are favored to win this one by 7.5. I'm going to say that they win and cover the spread because it's Andy Dalton starting. Come on, it's Andy Dalton. He's not going to do it. Rams win. And now you have our final matchup, the first Monday Night Football matchup of the season between the Baltimore Ravens and the Las Vegas Raiders. Starting out with the Ravens, last year you did have a bit of a questionable start, but you did have a strong finish, made the playoffs, lost the divisional round to the Bills. So anyways, starting off with Lamar Jackson, he definitely did regress from his MVP season, but he was still pretty solid, finally got his first playoff win, so the playoff choker label was sort of taken off. But anyways, you still got a pretty strong run game, but you don't have J.K. Dobbins, he's out for the season. You do have Gus Edwards, he's a solid back. In terms of receiving, Hollywood Brown is not exactly the best wide receiver, but you did fix it with Sammy Watkins. I mean, he's only really lethal in week 1, then the rest of the season he's kind of mediocre. He'll make a huge catch or two. But you did pick up Rashad Bateman in the draft. You got Mark Andrews, pretty solid O-line, although you did lose Orlando Brown Jr., so that's definitely going to be something that hampers you. Hopefully the defense can still play as well as it has in years past. And then the Raiders, this team also definitely got worse. Starting off, Derek Carr had a great season, still proving he could be the answer in Las Vegas. But anyways, in terms of rushing, you do have Josh Jacobs, but you also picked up Kenyon Drake. That didn't really make any sense. I mean, now the joke is they got Drake and Josh, and that's pretty much it. The receiving core definitely got worse, even though Nelson Aguilar is not exactly a great wide receiver one. He's gone, so of course it's now Henry Ruggs, Hunter Renfrow, but of course you got one of the best tight ends in the league in Darren Waller. That O-line suffered big time. That O-line is completely hampered, so Josh Jacobs is definitely going to regress, especially in fantasy, so try to avoid him as much as you can. The defense is still as questionable as ever. It's still pretty bad, so who knows how that's going to end up. I don't think it's going to end up well. And it's also going to be John Gruden's last chance. If John Gruden fails, Raiders fail to make the playoffs, he's going to be shown the door. But anyways, the Ravens are favored to win this one by 4.5. I'm going to say that they win and cover the spread. And so before we head to the outro, I'm going to give you my seeding predictions for both the AFC and NFC. So starting out with the AFC, number 1 seed, I'm going to give that right to the Kansas City Chiefs. 2 seed is going to be close, but I'll give it to the Browns. And the 3 seed, I'll give it to the Buffalo Bills. To be honest, I think those 3 can be pretty interchangeable. You can have them anywhere you want, but I think those are like the clear-cut favorites to win each of those divisions. 4 seed, I would have the Colts in contention, but with the questions on Carson Wentz and Quentin Nelson, give me the Titans, even though their defense sucks. Number 5 seed, I'm going to give that right to the Baltimore Ravens. 6 seed is going to be a sneaky one, but just as long as Drew Lock isn't absolutely terrible, or Teddy Bridgewater, and the defense is just as strong, Broncos will take the 6th. And number 7, I'm going to give that to the Miami Dolphins. I think Tua is going to have a pretty good season. Show that it's going to work out in Miami. And then for the NFC, number 1 seed, I'm going to give the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 2 seed will be the Green Bay Packers. Now, 3 seed, I'm going to give to the LA Rams. A lot of people will be questioning why aren't they a little bit higher. The secondary is really my concern, and like I said before, not many people are really talking about it, but it's a concern of mine. That's why I'm going to give them the 3 seed. Number 4 seed is going to be the Washington Football Team with hopefully a better record than 7-9. Number 5 seed, I'm giving that to the 49ers. Just as long as they stay healthy, I think Trey Lance will eventually take over to the end of the season, and he'll lead them to that 5 seed. Number 6 seed, got to go hometown, New Orleans Saints, baby. We're totally going to do it. It's Jameis time. He's going to flourish in that New Orleans offense. And number 7 seed is going to be the Seahawks, even though that defense is absolutely atrocious and the O-line is not too good. Russell Wilson's still there, and he's going to dominate and take this team squeak them into the playoffs. On to the outro. And that is going to wrap up my video for today. Thank you guys all so much for watching. It is so good to be back. Of course, we're coming with this 18 weeks of predictions, 17 Saints recaps, of course, playoff predictions. Just be ready for predictions because I am coming right back. If you like this video, make sure you click the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you have this week. What is your upset of the week, lock of the week, and is your favorite team going to win? Make sure you follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok at Brendan Suter. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day. Who Dat Nation going into the 2021 season is